The most important person in this world is my daughter.
Imagine a life that began on a Hollywood stage before you could even speak. A life built on camera, applause, and celebrity that conceals shadows so deep they threaten to consume you. Picture a tiny infant, coaxed with M&Ms onto a soap opera set, her fate sealed before she ever took her first breath. Now fast forward to today. Christina Applegate, once the blonde bombshell who made a nation laugh, leaning on a cane, confined to her home, quietly admitting she doesn't enjoy living. This is not a tabloid scandal of infidelity or corporate greed. It's a human tragedy of childhood exploitation, hidden abuse, and relentless health battles that refuse to let her rest. Christina's own trembling voice opens the story. The most important person in this world is my daughter. We see her cradling little Sadie, eyes haunted with worry, as she confesses, "I can't work anymore." Multiple sclerosis has stolen her mobility, data, and the promise of a normal life on screen. Her final TV role is done, her last film canceled, and the disease has ravaged her body in ways tabloids can't spin into punchlines. She leans on a cane, each step a reminder of a career built on movement and comedic timing, now held hostage by unrelenting nerve pain. Her journey began on November 25, 1971 in Hollywood. Nancy, her mother, was a singer-actress. Robert, her father, a record producer. But Nancy struggled to make ends meet, dragging her 3-month-old onto the soaps and ads that paid the bills. By kindergarten, she'd earned a Screen Actors Guild card. At 5 months, she was the face of a Playtex baby bottle commercial. While other children learned to say mama and dada, Christina learned to read scripts, hit her mark, and mask her exhaustion with a forced smile. Behind the camera, the industry whispered promises to a toddler who didn't know she was a commodity. At 9, she leapt from cute commercials into the obscure horror flick Jaws of Satan, an odd debut where devil-possessed snakes attacked an Alabama town. The movie barely registered at the box office, but it signaled her transition to serious acting. Soon she popped up on Charles in Charge and Silver Spoons and earned a Young Artist Award for Heart of the City in 1986. Most kids her age chased playgrounds. She chased lines and callbacks. But amid the bright lights, a darker force was shaping her future. An 8-year-old taunted as fat by a neighborhood boy, a cruel word that would echo in her mind for decades to come. By 15, Hollywood handed her the role that defined her. Kelly Bundy on Married with Children. The blonde, ditzy daughter whose one-liners became fan favorites. Off-screen, though, Christina waged a private war. Her mother enrolled her in Weight Watchers, and what began as diet disciplines spiraled into a crippling eating disorder. Days passed with just 5 almonds for sustenance. 1 extra almond could trigger tears, cancellations, panic. At 110 pounds, Nancy would beam, asking, "How'd you do it?" Unaware that her daughter was trading health for a body image no television sitcom deserved. When Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead hit theaters in 1991, Christina thought she was above such a film. It flopped initially, earning $4.2 million opening weekend, yet found late-night life on VHS and cable. By 1998, fed up with being typecast, she chose 2 unlikely films, The Big Hit and Mafia, to prove her range. Neither was a blockbuster, but both let her shed Kelly's skin. Then came The Sweetest Thing in 2002 with Cameron Diaz, where her comedic instincts shone, and Anchorman in 2004, where she held her own opposite Will Ferrell. Audiences saw more than a blonde stereotype. They saw a confident performer with timing and wit. In 2005, she realized a lifelong dream by starring in Broadway's Sweet Charity. She trained in dance and musical theater since childhood, and this felt like home, until she broke her 5th metatarsal during previews in Chicago. For 20 minutes, she danced through agonizing pain before collapsing. Producers whispered cancellation, but Christina refused to quit. 2 days later, she returned in medical boots and completed 279 performances, earning Tony and Drama Desk nods. Behind the applause, though, the injury was permanent, ending her ability to dance and ripping away a piece of her identity she'd cherished since she was a little girl. Her love life, too, was a roller coaster. She married Jonathan Skeech in 2001. Their daughter Sadie arrived soon after. By 2005, divorce filings left Christina juggling custody of Sadie and 2 Los Angeles homes. Less than a year later, she suffered another blow. Her ex-boyfriend, photographer Lee Grievous, died of a heroin overdose at 26. She publicly mourned him, calling him incredible, even as guilt and grief haunted her private moments. Each romantic loss only deepened her isolation, fueling a relentless drive to command what she could, her career trajectory and public narrative. In August 2008, routine scans revealed she carried the BRCA1 gene mutation and had early-stage breast cancer at 36. Faced with up to an 87% lifetime risk of recurrence, she chose a preventive double mastectomy and reconstruction. Declared 100% cancer-free a month later, she could have retreated from public life. Instead, she founded Right Action for Women, raising millions to provide MRI screenings for high-risk women whose insurance wouldn't cover them. Through raw humor and candor, she turned her darkest hour into a lifeline for others, proving her strength extended far beyond anything seen on screen. Despite her activism, she remained a force on television. From 1998 to 2000, she led Jessie as a single mom juggling work and family, earning a Golden Globe nod and a People's Choice Award. In 2002, she guest starred on Friends as Rachel's sister Amy, never having watched an episode, and won an Emmy for her effortless performance. In 2007, she starred in and executive produced Samantha Who, portraying an amnesiac forced to rebuild her identity, a storyline that foreshadowed her own battles with self and health. 2 Golden Globe and 2 Emmy nominations later, she'd shattered any notion that she was just Kelly Bundy. Fame's shadow showed its teeth in 2012, when a stalker terrorized her and then-husband Martin Leno-Bell with violent, anonymous tweets promising murder. The LAPD executed a search warrant on Twitter. The account was deleted, but the stalker was never found. Someone had already broken into her home and tried on her clothes. Cameras and security replaced morning coffee runs. Anxiety lurked in every knock on the door, yet Christina refused to vanish. She took control by speaking out on her own podcast, reclaiming her story in her own voice rather than letting fear dictate her life. In 2021, during production of Dead to Me's final season, she noticed alarming symptoms: numbness, weakness, tremors. A neurologist's diagnosis arrived: multiple sclerosis. She could have stepped away, but Christina soldiered on, shooting scenes from a wheelchair. "A disease I'm going to have for the rest of my life," she said on camera, voice thick with emotion. The same limbs that once danced and delivered punchlines now trembled with fatigue. Yet she insisted on finishing the season, determined not to let MS truncate her artistic journey. MS proved merciless. She described pain like knives in my stomach and struggles to perform everyday tasks: opening bottles, turning doorknobs, even climbing stairs. Medications and immobility added 40 pounds. A Sapo virus from a trusted restaurant landed her in the ER repeatedly, forcing her to wear adult diapers. Her world shrank to her home and her daughter's laughter. Public outings dwindled until, in 2023, she made what she called her final red carpet appearance at the SAG Awards, leaning on a cane, redefining Hollywood glamour through raw honesty rather than sequins. In June 2024, on her podcast with Jamie Lynn Sigler, she made headlines by admitting she was in a depression so deep she didn't enjoy living. Rumors of suicide watch swirled, which she swiftly denied. That same year, she tweeted that anyone who voted against women's or disability rights should unfollow her, drawn praise and scorn in equal measure. During the 2025 California wildfires, she unleashed rage at trolls who claimed LA deserved it, refusing to be silenced. Through each backlash, Christina chose authenticity over polish, bearing her pain and convictions without apology. With on-camera roles fading and an animated Married, with Children revival canceled in mid-2025, Christina has pivoted to voiceover work and the ultimate act of control, a memoir titled You with the Sad Eyes, due March 2026. She promises to reveal the hidden traumas, abuse, abandonment, exploitation that have haunted her since childhood. Even now, as MS chips away at her body and chronic pain anchors her to bed on some days, she stands as a beacon for survivors of cancer, chronic illness, and anyone silenced by shame. Her story reminds us that true resilience isn't about escaping pain unscathed, but about owning your scars and insisting your voice be heard.